Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Burundi, we are going to be talking a lot about Olympic stuff here this episode. We've got a good amount of that on the docket. But before we get into that, you just have written down on the itinerary Burundi topics. So you got something to bring up for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something that I think is very fitting for this time of the year and something that maybe can build towards something improved in future years, and that is the NHL All-Star Game. We know that there is no All-Star Game this year because of the Olympics. We didn't get it last year because of the Four Nations. But we know next year in 2027 that the Islanders will finally be getting their All-Star Game. Is the whole Olympic send-off thing didn't happen at all, like they originally planning. So we know the All-Star Game's coming back next year. Yeah. For the most part. Last time we saw, we saw that they tried to change things up a little bit by bringing back the fantasy draft or whatever when picking the teams instead of just the same, basically the exact same players playing together in each division like we've seen the last couple years. So that was an improvement. But one thing that's really struggling with the All-Star Game is the skills competition and how it just kind of continues to get worse and worse every year. It seems like, to the point where it's near unwatchable for the most part.
Yeah, they do the breakaway challenge, and there's 3 guys in a row who will shoot with a mini stick or, just grab a kid and go in, and it's cute, it's fun. I'm sure it's awesome for the kid, but a lot of people are going to change the channel. It's not,
and it's probably more fun if you're in the arena. I don't doubt. I imagine it's 10 times better. But if you are at home, just watching on TV, the majority of people, it's not entertaining. So, something that's recently happened over in the KHL has got people talking about ways to improve the NHL All-Star Game and what kind of stuff you can do. And one thing I've always kind of criticized is the goalies and the skills is you don't really get to see them do much. They kind of go out there and sometimes they'll have 2 events for the goalies. Sometimes it's just the shootout, and half the guys aren't even trying. In the KHL, they just had their All-Star Game, and they did an event, and it involved just the goalies, and it was the hardest shot.
I did see a small.
The goalies wearing their full equipment, like glove blocker, everything, all their stuff that they normally would, and just going down and taking clappers as hard as they can. And I think that's with the goalie stick and everything, and for the most part, they're actually pretty good, and it was very entertaining to watch. You actually got to see something out of the goalies aside from, again, trying to stop someone with a mini stick or let a 5-year-old score a goal on you type of thing, right? So that's got people talking. And one thing that's already something they want to see the NHL bring over, and now it's got more people talking about the All-Star Game and what they want to see. So it is a year away, and we still have the Olympics coming up, which has everyone's attention. But people are already starting to try and throw stuff out there to save the All-Star Game, as opposed to what it's been. So maybe the All-Star Game won't be terrible next year. It might. It probably will. But
if
there's enough people speaking up about it.
One thing I want to ask, and I genuinely don't know if there's a real answer to this. Do you think the All-Star Game or the All-Star stuff in general would go over better if they did it just at a different time of year? Maybe a month, maybe a couple weeks after the playoffs end, maybe a couple weeks before training season or something like that? Do you think there's any amount of guys being they just would rather rest up? Because right now it's always in this Olympic break time when it's still, you have a bit of time off, but you're in the middle of the season. These guys want to chill, rest up because they got a grueling March schedule and then a lot of them playoffs. Do you think removing them from kind of being in the middle of the season would help somehow?
I don't think so.
Because it feels like it would, but obviously at the same time, they're playing and training for 8 months of the year. You don't want to put it in that
Mhm.
off time either, because they also wouldn't care about it then.
Exactly, yeah. I feel like it's the time that makes the most sense, kind of doing it kind of around the 2/3, just a little bit maybe after mark of the season, and um, that way kind of gives you enough time to decide who's going to be the all-stars for that season. And yeah, I don't think you could move it to a different time where
Right.
it would make the players want to go more, really,
Yeah.
because
Or
by the
like
end of the
try
season, then you
harder.
just want to rest up, and if you lost in the cup final, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll go and put on a smile at the All-Star game. And
Yeah.
before the season just won't ever happen because of the all the stuff still from the World Cup when that took place in 2016. And uh, that was during the training camp, like that was before the season started, and that didn't go over well with some people. So
Yeah.
I don't think you can move the time. I just think you have to find ways to make it so players want to go a bit more. I
Right.
think. Uh,
Yeah. Fair
Again,
enough.
I don't fully know how, but maybe they'll be able to figure out something.
Yeah.
But
Um.
I want to bring that up because I thought that was a very fun
Yeah.
uh, fun thing to watch. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's
It's a
goalies are
good.
just having fun over there.
Just goalies having fun. And I only saw, I think, one other clip from the KHL All Star game, but like this guy was skating down the side, and like the ref kind of got in the way and bumped into him, and like the ref kind of
Oh,
gave him a little bit of a shove, and the guy like kind of stumbles, and he stands up, and the player steps back, and he goes to this, and he points at the ref, and he goes to the box, and the ref is like, "Fuck, man," and the ref goes over and sits in the box, and
yeah, you just got to. I
I
haven't
was
seen
like,
that. I'll have to go watch that.
I've never seen that kind of character from a ref in the NHL ever. So
Yeah,
like something like that would be fun to watch as well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just
yeah. Even
guy
yeah,
the guy's
something like that.
clearly being able to have fun.
Absolutely. But we can move on to our next topics here. Again, now it's all Olympic stuff.
Yeah. That'll be the
You
last
know,
mention of Russia
since
here.
since the end of yeah, very true. Because yeah, I mean, since the break has gone into effect here and all that, I mean, there's been no NHL news that has come out at all. It's been all Olympic stuff. So
Yep.
uh, yeah, we got a couple different things. We also got the weekly mock trade and all the stuff at the end. But before we get to all that, let's talk about some of the leadership groups that have
This is good.
already been officially announced for, what is it, seven? Do we have seven countries that have?
Sick.
Three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere
Don't,
between 6 and 8
don't,
ish.
don't.
I almost did it by accident.
We're going to have none of that around here. But we do have some countries here that have officially announced their leadership groups. So we'll kind of go through them, talk about them a bit, and see if we like the picks or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe I've seen all of them, but the ones I have seen, I mean, I wasn't surprised by Canada's, right? But like almost every other country, there was at least one that I was shocked by. Usually the
Mhm.
captain. Like I was shocked by more of them than I wasn't. So
Oh, we can dive right in. And the one you mentioned, no one's surprise, is Canada, and that is Sidney Crosby as a captain with McDavid and Marner wearing the A's.
is it Marner?
Exact same as, or not Makar, not
Okay.
Marner. No, definitely not Marner. So the same group that they had at Four Nations,
Yeah.
which is kind of what everybody assumed when they kind of
Makes
made
so
it
much
clear they
sense.
wanted to bring back as much of the Four Nations group as possible. So you won with that
Yeah.
group. The leadership group obviously wasn't an issue, and in what is likely, I'm not going to say for sure because you never know with this man. Likely,
I don't
Sidney
think it
Crosby's
is.
last Olympics. It might
I
not.
don't
It definitely might not.
I I don't think he's gonna win the battle against Father Time. I
Mm.
think he's gonna have the possibly the best showing we've ever seen anybody ever have against him, though. Like, dude is set for like 90 to 95 points on the season still. He's what, 38 now? Like,
Eh,
he's still
is he
crushing
is
it.
he up to 38 or is he?
Like, dude's
Actually,
balling
he
out.
might be. Yeah.
Dude, the respect that team has for him, obviously he was gonna be the Captain Canada. Like,
Yeah.
if they came up and said to McDavid, we want you to be the captain instead, I think he would try and give it to Crosby. If for some reason they didn't want Crosby to have it, I genuinely think it's more likely they go with alternates and nobody puts a C on. Like I think the other players would rather there be no guy with the literal C on his chest than playing with it with Crosby not having
with
it.
Crosby. Yeah, no,
Like
I think
th-
that's a fair assessment. And it's all the right choices. I don't think anyone can
yeah,
complain about the way they went. And
they
most
obviously
teams
want one
traditionally
on
will do the
defense.
the
Makar's
one
the
on
obvious choice.
defense at least, and
You could go
two
Doughty
up front. So
if you wanted for the
you
veteran
could,
presence
but you know what?
kind
The
of thing.
fact that Drew
But
Doughty's the veteran and Makar still gets to wear number 8. Yeah, you know what? I don't think Drew Doughty gets the fucking letter.
well,
He's
you know
not
what? That's
getting his
probably
number. He
that's
sure
probably
as
more
hell
of
ain't getting the letter.
that's probably more of a money thing as well. They're gonna sell a lot more Makar jerseys with his NHL number on them,
No, fair. That is true. Yeah.
and
So
you know they
no
want that.
surprise there
No.
with Canada. We can go over to the United States. Austin Matthews with the C, Matthew Kachuk and Charlie McAvoy with the A's. Is this what they had it for? Nations?
Matthews was the captain.
And yeah, Matthews was for sure the captain.
Who were who are the A's? I kind of
I kind of think
assumed
McAvoy
Kachuk.
did have one of the A's
It might be
already.
the same. This might be the same group. I imagine
Yeah,
Matthew Kachuk had it.
it was either him or Eichel. I don't,
Oh, it might have been Eichel.
but I'm pretty sure like it's still Matthews and McAvoy though. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. But what
and
are your thoughts on this one?
I'm shocked Quinn Hughes doesn't at least have an A. Frankly, he was my pick to have the C. Um, so I'm surprised he didn't even get the A on his jersey. But at the same time, it's not too shocking. This U.S. team in particular, their management group really has their guys that they love, and it it makes sense that they would lean towards those guys a bit more.
I mean, Quinn Hughes' GM is the GM of the team.
Yeah, like
He does have that. I don't think there's anything wrong with this group. I know obviously a lot of people dislike Matthew Kachuk, and for that reason alone, they don't think he should have one. Austin Matthews' criticism has been hot and cold all season, so and especially the way that Four Nations ended, there's a lot of people complain about that. Um, and then Charlie McAvoy, again, like you mentioned, a lot of people thought it should have been Quinn Hughes or even Zach Werenski. I think Charlie McAvoy's a fine choice. He's
yeah, it's still a good pick.
He seems to be the defenseman that takes the most brutal injuries and punishment due to, kind of just putting his body on the line, and
Yeah,
that's kind of what you want in a leader, a guy that's willing to leave it all out there. So I have
he
no
came
problem with
back for
that. And
the rest of the first period when he took, in my summation, probably the worst hit of this, if you want to call it a hit, the worst hit of the season. Like,
it's up
obviously, there
there.
was no penalty or suspension, but like
I think it was 2 minutes. I think it was a 2 minute
I
minor.
think he got two, but then
But
they ended up
Boston
on the
still ended
penalty
up
kill.
on the penalty kill. Yeah, uh, and I think Matthews is still a fine leader. Like has his play kind of consistency at least not been there the last year, sure, but he's still a fantastic leader on and off the ice. And again, people don't
Yeah,
like Matthew Kachuk, but again, similar to kind of the way McAvoy plays, like he's a leader through his style of play, and
yeah.
there's not many guys that can, you know, get the energy out of the bench quite like he can. I think
I
he may be
mean,
doing stupid shit to do it,
oh
but
yeah,
he still finds a way to get his team fired up.
same.
It kind of seems like every time.
Same like Brad Marchand, right?
Yeah,
Like my only
yeah,
thing is, it just feels weird that he got an A and his brother, who is literally a captain of his own team, doesn't have anything. But Matthew Kachuk is more of the one who is in the headlines more and stuff like that. So
yeah.
it still makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see why they picked all these guys.
Mhm. Is there any you would change with it? Like, is
I
there anything that
almost want to
stands out
say I
enough to you
would
that you're like,
change.
I need to change it or I want
Like
to?
I would almost say change the C to like Jack Eichel or something, like just because he's been a good leader and he's won a cup and stuff. But at the end of the day, Matthews is still the face of American hockey. So, and he obviously a captain of his own right. So, yeah, I don't know if I would change him. Like,
Yeah, I think I would probably leave it the same. I think they did it. Again, if they went with a couple different picks, like I'd be fine with that as well, and I'm fine
there's a couple things they
with
could
this.
change. I would probably take it off McAvoy and put it on Quinn Hughes. Nothing against McAvoy. It's just everything for Hughes. And maybe I would take it off of Kachuk and put the A on Eichel, just because have like Matthew Kachuk's going to be a figurehead and a leader on the team, regardless. Give
Mhm.
Eichel, a guy who's not a ton but a little more level headed, the A, so he gets to go over and talk to the refs instead of the guy who's being escorted off to the box talking to them.
Yeah, fair.
But minor changes.
Mhm.
I think they still did good with them.
Alrighty, next we got Team Finland. We have Mikael Granlund with the C, and then Aho and Rantanen with the A's.
I was shocked by that. Like,
Yeah.
nothing against him, and obviously he's a vet. That's why they went with him. But like, I think most people were expecting, well, obviously Barkov if he was
Barkov,
healthy.
if he was there. Yeah.
Um, but I think most people were expecting probably Mikko Rantanen, right? And
Yeah, but yeah, I would say either him or Heiskanen, but I
or
think more
Heiskanen.
people were kind of going Rantanen.
Yeah, like I don't even think I would have had Granlund as having any letter, let alone the C, going into picking it. So it's a little shocking, but they're clearly going with the veteran presence, which is pretty cool. And I mean,
It's one of those ones where uh I'm surprised by it, but I'm not necessarily shocked by it. Like to me, it makes all the
yeah,
sense in
exactly.
in
I
the
wouldn't have
world.
picked it, but as soon as I
Uh,
heard it, I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. That makes sense.
I thought Granlund was for sure going to probably have an A, just because again, he's kind of the veteran on the team, and he was the MVP of Team Finland in the
That's
the
true.
Four Nations, in my opinion. He kind of showed up the most, and on a team where he probably should have been the seventh guy down on the list, probably, and he ended up, kind of coming through for the team in quite a few ways. So, that pick, it makes so much sense to me, and like kind of
Yeah,
like you said, good that they're going with the veteran. With Aho and Ranta, I mean, also great picks. You're kind of
yeah,
flipping a coin between, or a three-sided triangle, whatever, between the two of them and Heiskanen. So, and I
yeah.
don't think you could go wrong with whatever two you pick.
I'm just a little surprised they didn't give it to Heiskanen because, well, first of all, he's incredible, but also usually, and we've already seen with the other teams, they like to have at least one forward and defenseman
Yeah, one
at,
on the yeah,
on the captaincy roster, and then
yeah,
you can have two defensemen, you can have two forwards, either side can have the C, whatever. But like usually they want at least one forward and one defender. So
yeah.
when you have a guy like Heiskanen, I'm shocked that he didn't get one. But with the
Mhm.
guys who did get it, it's what are you really complaining about?
Yeah, no, yeah. Um, Everything you just said there.
Yeah,
Next we
I might have
have
given Heiskanen Aho's A, but that's neither here
yeah,
nor there.
yeah. I mean, congrats to Granlund. That's quite a big
Yeah,
accomplishment for him. And again, I think a big part of it is the performance at the Four Nations because
yeah,
that was quite impressive. Next we got Sweden. Gabriel Landeskog getting the C here,
yeah.
and Victor Hedman and Eric Carlson getting the A's. Gabriel
Again, another
Landeskog
one.
back from injury, and he comes in and kind of takes the C away. It's kind of surprising because it seems like
Yeah,
I mean, in Finland they had to change their captain because no Barkov. Um, Sweden's the only team to change their captain despite their captain still being on the team.
yeah. I was definitely shocked by that Hedman didn't get it. Not only because I thought Hedman would get it, but I figured if he didn't get it, it would probably go to Eric Carlson. Sweden just loves their defenseman, right? Like Nick Lidstrom changed the way that entire country developed players for a generation. And I just figured it would be Erik Karlsson next, but Landeskog makes a ton of sense. Obviously a captain of the Avalanche, captained his team to a cup. Yeah,
He's
I
one of the
don't
most
hate it.
influential players in the game right now with everything he's done.
Yeah, I wonder if that if they made that choice if it had a little bit or anything at all to do with Hedman's health. Um, he didn't play for a couple of months leading up to it.
Maybe.
I think he played the last 2 games for the Lightning going into the break. He looked rather slow out there. He did not look like himself out there.
It's
So
maybe something of like, yeah, they don't want to give the seat to a guy that might
maybe
not be playing every game.
that's exactly my thought. I was wondering, we want to give you the C, but if the plan is to maybe sit you out for France and Kazakhstan, maybe we'll give you an A and we'll let Landeskog take it, and then you can get your rest. So that's kind of what I'm wondering. Maybe they just love Landeskog. Maybe he met up with the GM and they're just like, this guy rocks. Like,
it's possible. It's tough to say because I was surprised by this one, just because I was pretty convinced it was just going to be Victor Hedman, and again he was the captain at the Four Nations. He's captain of the Lightning, one of the more respected guys around the league. It was just like it makes so much sense to just run it back with him, and Conn Smythe winner too, even hardest trophy to win in sports, individual award. Yeah, so I just thought it made all the sense to just go with Victor Hedman and don't change things up. If they were to pick anyone else, it would be Landeskog. Obviously, they got a lot of good leaders on that team, and just a fantastic leadership group throughout that lineup. But Landeskog was kind of the only other choice if you weren't going to go with Hedman. And yeah, maybe it's definitely got something to do with the injury. It would kind of make sense because just kind of seemed obvious to run it back with Hedman. Yeah. But I can respect the Landeskog pick. At least Hedman still got an A. We'll see if he doesn't play in the game, who gets it. Yeah. If Hedman doesn't play, we'll see who gets the other A. And Erik Karlsson, that's fine. Kind of figured he was, because he's a veteran around that with that team and all that. So
I'm sure almost everyone on that team looks up to him. Like, yeah, it's one of those things where like it's Landeskog, so obviously I'm a huge Lightning and therefore a huge Hedman fan. But it went to Landeskog, so it's hard to be too upset. If they were like, we're changing it up, Ricard Raquel is going to be the captain, then I would be like, okay, Sweden, what the fuck are you doing to my boy here? But like Landeskog is a great pick.
Great pick, absolutely. What do we got here? We got 3 more. Next up, we got Czechia. Wearing the C, their captain Roman Chervenka, playing over in the Czech league, I think as of right now, and David Pastrnak, Radko Gudas getting the A's.
About 13, 14 years ago, when I started watching more live hockey and decided to just latch on to Radko Gudas because he was the Lightning's resident go fuck them up with a big hit guy, I had no idea he was going to end up having such an insane career. This guy's going to hit 1,000 games in the NHL. He's the captain of the Ducks, and now he's wearing an A for an Olympic team. Like I just thought it was funny to cheer. That was my first NHL jersey. Our dad got me a custom-made Radko Gudas Lightning jersey because it was just so funny to me. He would just run around and fucking bulldoze people.
And I mean, a name Radko Gudas, like just a sick name.
Prime.
Like, I'm totally fine with these choices. Do
you have much info on the guy who is captain?
Yeah, so
most people were probably expecting Pastrnak.
Yeah, most people were expecting Pastrnak. Roman Chervenka played numerous years, from 2003 all the way to 2013. Played mostly in the Czech Pro League there. A little bit of time in the KHL, and then 2012 he decides to come and join the Calgary Flames. from what I know here. So um, Trevenko was kind of dealing with some health stuff and injury related stuff, so wasn't able to
Right.
come and participate in training camp. Um, and then kind of got off to a slow start in the year, dealt with some injuries. So he only played 1 year, 1 season in the
Yeah.
NHL with the Calgary Flames. 39 points or 17 points, sorry, in 39 games. Just kind of struggled to adapt to the NHL, so went back to the
Missing
KHL.
training camp
Um,
and having an injury and still putting up almost half a point per game when you start out, like that's not too bad.
yeah.
I I'm surprised he didn't end up sticking around in the NHL.
Yeah, and then so due to his struggles and whatnot, he chose to leave the NHL and go back to the KHL. Played 2 seasons there. Played 1 season back in the Czech league. A run of like 8 years, 9 years in the Swiss league, and now back in the Czech league. So a guy that's just been over there, played over,
How old is
probably
he?
like
Is he like
over a
40?
1,000 games. He's 40. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
40 right now. Just recently turned 40 in December, but played
good for
near
him.
over like 1,000 games over there, in different leagues over there, and kind of embodies the this, I guess, not really this generation of
Just
Czech players,
Czech
but
hockey, really.
yeah, he was kind of the guy that was definitely, I mean, good enough to be in the NHL and decided to just stay over there and play in the leagues there. So probably a lot of kids that only ever played there looked up to him. So I think it's a
Yeah, he's
fine
probably
pick.
local
And then
legend.
yeah, Pasternak and Gudis. I mean, if you're going the route of you, then you got to pick one forward, one defenseman, the two most obvious
Yeah,
picks for this team. So
yeah,
I don't really got
makes
much else to say. I think it's cool what they're doing and going with not maybe not the easy pick in Pasternak and um, go with the guy that's just kind of stayed over there. And Pasternak
it.
did get to be the
Yeah,
flag bearer for Czech, so he got that moment, which is pretty cool in its own right.
yeah. This feels like one of those picks that they are doing right by their country at the Olympics.
Hmm.
They're not just trying to, it's not as exciting for us over here in North America who are NHL fans, but for the people over in Czechia, this is probably super cool.
Pretty cool
So,
for them, absolutely. Um, Two more here. We got Germany next. I mean, this one is pretty easy, right?
yeah.
Leon Draisaitl getting to be the captain, also got to be the flag bearer as well for Germany, and then Moritz Seider, Tim Stützle with the A's. You go with your big dogs, and I don't think there's
What
anything
was
wrong
the
with
other
that.
pick
When
even?
yeah,
Paterka instead of Stutzel? Even that's a reach.
yeah,
There's there's not really much debate on this one.
yeah,
Unless there's a
no,
guy similar to the last to Czechia where there's a guy who's been playing in the German league for 20 years, then yeah, this is a open and shut.
yeah. Three of the best, well, probably the three best German players, and all wearing letters on their own respective teams in the NHL. So easy to go with those guys, right?
Yeah.
Last country got here. We got Slovakia. Former NHLer Tomas Tatar were in the C, and then Martin Ferravari and Eric Chernak with the A's. So the captain up front on the with the forwards and two A's on the blue line.
Yep. And that makes sense. Tatar, did he hit 1,000 games? He's got to be at least like
I don't know if he did actually.
maybe not that high, but like he's probably got six, seven, 800 somewhere in there. He
Let's find out.
played for a long time, still going.
927.
He got close.
How close?
Oh, 4 points off of hitting 500 points in the NHL. Rough. But yeah, he was playing as recently as last season. He played 74 games. I was gonna say he played recently.
Now back playing in the Swiss league. I'm
Yeah,
these are all awesome picks.
yeah, they're very very similar to some of the other ones we've seen, where it's just a very solid vet pick.
Yeah, and the future of the captains for Slovakia is probably going to be around Slavkovsky and Simon Nemec most likely.
Yeah,
Going down the road. But for now, you go with the veterans that are um, I think for the most part, getting their first crack at the Olympics. At least I think for Chernak and Farivari. I don't even know if Tatar
I was gonna say I
was.
don't know if I don't think most of the guys on this team would have even been like old enough to be in the Olympics last time NHLers were allowed to go.
Yeah, even
Eh,
Tatar didn't. So all three of these guys all getting their first. I mean, pretty much everybody, in that we've talked about is their first go.
Yeah,
But those are the leadership groups for those countries. They're the only ones that have been announced so far. Um, the only other one, I guess, it's kind of people are kind of wondering is what direction Switzerland goes in. But I
right.
think you probably just go with Roman Yossi as your captain,
It's
and
got to be.
then Nico Hischier and
Oh, they do have Heischer.
maybe Timo Meyer for the A's.
Yeah,
He's
I
probably
think
a player I'm
Heischer and
missing.
Yossi are basically
Yeah,
locked
for
for it.
sure. Yeah,
And then after that, Timo Meyer,
I think there might be a player
JJ
I'm missing
Moser. There's maybe one or two other guys in there that could, but yeah, those top two. I mean, Heischer and Yossi
for sure.
both captains in the NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. Um,
Um,
has France announced theirs?
no, but
Okay,
I imagine Belmar's gonna get
I would
the
say I thought I heard that
see.
Belmar was announced as the captain, but that was also a while ago, so I wasn't sure if that was
I think
just
that's just kind of the
rumors.
general consensus that he's gonna.
There's not a ton of names on there that you're gonna recognize, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Um, but we can move on from that next up. We got some lineup news that has come out, only so far really surrounding Canada and the US. There's kind of been some other small things from other countries, but nothing really official, just kind of more rumors than anything. So
Yeah,
um, we can go through the lineups that have been tracked so far throughout the first couple practices for Canada US and give our quick thoughts on what we think about them.
yeah.
Which country do you want to do first?
Um, let's let's start with Canada. Let's go top to
Start
bottom.
with Canada. All right. So I'll just list off the forward lines, and then afterwards, anything you want to mention on it
Sure.
can. So the first line, they had Celebrini and Tom Wilson on the wings with McDavid in the middle. Second line, McKinnon centering Marchand Suzuki. Third line, Crosby centering Stone and Marner. And then the fourth line, Bo Horvat with Brandon Hagel and Sam Reinhart. And then Seth Jarvis and Sam Bennett, the two injury replacements, were the extras for the
I
forwards.
think I think those two being the extras makes sense. They were the two extra guys brought in,
Yeah.
so that makes sense. Um, there's a couple confusing things about a lot of these lines, though. Why are Suzuki and Crosby swapped?
Yeah.
Suzuki is an incredible defensive player. Crosby, that's the one area he's starting to slip in. Um, why not? And that if you had swapped those two, now it'd be Marchand, McKinnon, Crosby, the Nova Scotia line everyone's always talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what does Suzuki add to that line, and what does Crosby add to the third line? Like, I think the third line's better with Suzuki on it than Crosby, and I think the second
Yeah.
line's much better with Crosby on it than Suzuki. It,
Absolutely.
swapping those two just seems super obvious to me. Um,
No, absolutely. I'm right there with you.
oh, why is Tom Wilson on the first line?
Yeah, I don't.
I get the idea behind it, but
I
if
get.
that's what you're
Yeah,
going for, why is he there at all? You should have brought Zach Hyman. If you want a big body to stand there and tip shots in for McDavid Celebrini, why isn't it just the guy that you know can do that at least? Like
I hear that argument. I think Tom Wilson's more effective on the forecheck though. Like his role on that line is going to be the guy to go in and
puck
crash and
retrieval
bash to
and
get
forecheck
pucks
him.
loose. Like obviously that's Celebrini's favorite thing to do is go in and try and be the one to retrieve it. But I think you're better off having Tom Wilson do that. Is he's one of the better guys in the league. And then
Yeah.
I mean the chance to watch Celebrini McDavid play together. I mean that's fun. That's what most
That's
people kind of
mine.
wanted to see. Um, so again, I understand the thought process behind it, but when it makes it so you have to have Sam Reinhart on your fourth line, it's not the greatest, especially when Sam Reinhart on the fourth line, what they're calling the fourth line.
Yeah.
But then he's on the top power play.
It it's
It's
confusing to me.
very
Yeah.
weird.
I don't Your Team Canada. You can beat any team in the world with skill. Why is the top line that has McDavid as the center? Why are they built around getting goals by setting up in the zone rather than rush chances? Because that's how
Mhm.
you're going to want that top line to score. Like you're going to want them to get odd man rushes and make these insane passes, and any of them can score from anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why forecheck, puck retrieval, big body in front. Like it's a good recipe for success, but for McDavid's line, I would maybe go a different direction.
Potentially not. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would like to see Crosby obviously up there on that second line with McKinnon. We know that combination works. And then yes, Suzuki makes more sense on that third line. Again, I would like to find a way to get Sam Reinhart off that fourth line, whatever you got to
Yeah,
do, because he should be in your top six.
yeah.
But again, this was only the first glance we got the line, so nothing's official, but it's kind of where we're at with the forwards. Do I move on to the defensemen?
The defense. I actually don't have the lines pulled up here,
All
but
right. Well, while you pull it up, I can list it off here for everyone.
okay.
The pairings they were rolling with, again, they have four pairings because they have eight defensemen. They have Taves and Makar, Morrissey, Pareko, Harley and Dowdy, and then Theodore and Sanheim. The blue line pairings. I'm
Sorry,
not
that was
shocked by any of it.
yeah. Sorry, I was looking up. I was bringing them up on mine, but I assume Makar, Taves, and then
Yeah,
what was the second one? Second and third?
Morrissey, Pareko, and then
It was Morrissey
Harley
Preco.
with Drew Dowdy, and then Theodore and Sanheim
So
on that kind of fourth pair.
Theodore's on the outside looking in, getting into games. Interesting.
It's kind of the position when they only have three
Didn't they have him
right-handed
on like
defense, and they kind of have to keep all of them in.
wasn't he on the power play? Wasn't he on the second power play
He's on the
unit?
second power play, yeah. So that they're probably trying him out on
Huh.
the second power play, and maybe again, maybe it's Theodore and Sanheim. Maybe that's the third pair, and Harley and Dowdy are maybe the odd guys out. It's just the
Yeah.
way that they're listed, but like
Yeah.
because McCarn and Taves, that's your top, and Morrissey and Preco's probably your second. So
Yeah.
you could probably go either way with those bottom two pairings, and um, overall, I don't have any issues with how they've got it so far.
Would
I
you
think that each pairing works well.
I think the even strength pairings are very good. I really like them. Do you think who do you think should be quarterbacking from the blue line, the second power play unit? Because obviously McCarr's doing the first
McCarr's
one.
gonna do the top. I would go probably Josh Morrissey first, and then Thomas Harley. I
Okay.
think is the
Yeah.
way I
I
would go
don't
with
mind
it.
that. This team has
I don't hate
so
Shea
many.
Theodore on it, but I think Morrissey and Harley are better options.
Yeah. Well, and Dowdy runs the top power play unit in LA as well, right?
I
I
mean,
think.
should be
Um,
Grant Clark, but
yeah.
the Drew Doughty does. He shouldn't in the
This team
Olympics,
is
though.
so stacked. I almost wonder if it should be a forward if they just don't have the top end offensive guy to the point where it should, maybe Mitch Marner does it and you're like, "Hey, just remember you're the last guy back. Play everyone
No,
else can take the risks. Don't take it yourself." Like,
no. You can get away with it in the NHL, but it would just you're. I mean, you could do it, I guess, in the games when you're saying you're playing, France. Because who does Canada have in their group here? They have Switzerland, Czechs, and France. So I mean, if you wanted to do it against France, sure you could. But if you're playing good teams like the Czechs or like Sweden, like Finland, like the Americans, they're going to have some of the best guys in the league when it comes to killing penalties and on the PK. And I don't know if you risk putting a forward back there if it could potentially result in a shorthanded goal scored against you. Because yeah, they're good at defense, but if something goes wrong, how good are they at handling a 2-on-1? As opposed to a defenseman that's kind of
Yeah,
trained for that. So I see the thought behind it, but I think you keep a defenseman back there just in case, because the talent on the other side, even though they're shorthanded, is still going to be
yeah.
very good. Like it's going to be what Matthews and Boldy, and then Eichel comes out with. I was
Gensel?
gonna say JT Miller, but I don't even fucking want to say JT
They
Miller.
might.
But
It
it's
might.
they might they might, but I see the thought process behind it. But yeah, I don't think you need to, unless the power play is just struggling so bad, which I don't
Wait,
expect
yeah.
it
This.
to.
Well, I don't think we're going to get to know how this power play unit does, because I don't think the power plays are going to go long enough for
No,
us to see the second unit too often. I think. I think
it's a
pretty
good point.
quick in this tournament, teams are going to be like, "Okay, we're playing Canada. Nobody take a fucking penalty. Nobody
Mhm.
take any penalties," because
Yeah,
that is not a recipe for success against this team.
yeah,
Um, and then obviously the goalies: Jordan Binnington, Logan Thompson, and Darcy Kemper, listed in that order. I don't know if
yeah. I
you
haven't
could
seen
really glean
anything
who's
on
going to
the.
be the starter
Yeah, I haven't
based
seen
on
anything
practice.
on the goalies yet.
I'm assuming Binnington's getting the start game
I
one.
imagine.
Um, I think he's got a pretty short leash to, just because of how good Logan Thompson's been. That if
Yeah,
Binnington looks a little shaky, I think they won't be afraid to go to Thompson.
and
I
then
think I think Binner's going
if
to
you
have a
don't
rough
want Bennington
tournament
as the
to not
backup, you just
be.
go with Kemper.
Yeah, even if he has some bad games, though, they've shown already they're not afraid to go back to him in those big games. Like, I'm just wondering if he has a couple shaky ones. Logan Thompson is good, but not great.
Yeah,
And then all of
they
a
get,
sudden you're in a bronze or a gold medal game. What are you
and
doing?
then out comes Bennington.
And
Yeah,
Coop
I could
loves
see
to
it.
run. Coop loves to run with his guys. Doug Armstrong loves to run with his guys.
I
It
could see
worked
it.
for him in the Four Nations. I think Bennington would have to be pretty bad, and Logan Thompson would have to not steal the position for it to not end up going to Bennington in that game.
Mm, I think you're probably right on that. Yeah.
Definitely going to be
Um.
a storyline as the time goes on.
Yeah. But I guess we can move on to the American lines here. What they
Yes.
got going on. Um. All right. So I'll go through the forwards again here. On the first line, what we assumed from Four Nations, Jack Eichel centering the Kachuk brothers. Um. And they just have Kachuk down. I don't know who's on the right, who's on the left. Quite frankly, I don't care. They're gonna be all over the place.
I
Um,
think Matthew Kachuk is usually more on the right side, and I think Brady's more often on the left,
Kind of what I assumed,
if it
but
matters.
second line, Austin Matthews with Jake Gensel and Matt Boldy. Third line, Dylan Larkin with Kyle Connor and Tage Thompson on the wings. And the fourth line, Brock Nelson centering JT Miller and Jack Hughes, with Vincent Trocheck and Clayton Keller as the two extras.
Holy shit, they have a lot of scoring, huh? Like, who's like? Look at that second line. Like, all three of those guys are killers with the puck on their stick. Like,
Yeah.
any one of them has a slight chance. You have no idea if they're shooting or passing it. Like,
Yeah.
each of those guys are like basically perennial 40 goal scorers, or at least 35, like season in, season out. Like,
Their third line, Dylan Larkin with Kyle Connor and Tage Thompson, they're all in the top 25 for goals this season. Tage Thompson's tied for 8 with 30. Dylan Larkin's got 26 and Kyle Connor's got 25. That's their third line.
yeah, like
And
that's
then the
that's
fourth
nasty.
line, Brock Nelson, who, you know what? People can say Brock Nelson shouldn't have made the team. Now he absolutely does. 55 games played this season, 29 goals, 20 assists. He's tied for 10th in goal scoring, tied with
He's
Y.
really turned it
Johnston,
up.
Leon Draisaitl, Nikita Kucherov. Some pretty damn good company. So
Yeah.
I will not be accepting any Brock Nelson slander at this time or anytime soon. Um,
But you know who can get some slander? His line mates. Uh, why the hell is
Honestly,
JT Miller on
both.
this freaking team? Why is JT Miller on this team at all?
Yeah,
Like, oh, brutal.
yeah, yeah.
They could have
It's
Jason Robertson added to this team.
yeah,
That
yeah.
I can't wait for JT Miller to give up on a play when it matters most in the Olympics, and everyone's going to see it.
One would see if he does. I don't know if he would in the Olympics. I can definitely see why
He
at
does
times
it.
with
He
the
does it
Rangers.
several times a week, wearing the C on his jersey for an original six team,
Yeah,
playing
but
in
that Rangers
Madison
team is
Square Garden.
that Rangers
If you
team is
can't
just a
do it as captain in
disaster.
MSG, like what are you waiting for?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt until it happens, and I will be
He's
paying
he's one
very
of the
close
guys who hasn't
attention.
earned that to me.
Um, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until I see it in the Olympics at least. Um, I like seeing Matt Boldy up there in the top
Yeah,
six. You know, a lot of people were saying Jack Hughes should be in there, but I think Matt Boldy's done everything to deserve a look in that top six, especially with the captain Austin Matthews and Jake Enso, who continues to just have dominant seasons time and time again, and had a great showing at Four Nations. Talk about that third line, like that's just gross, and I'm glad to see Tage Thompson actually getting into the lineup. Um, the only major thing, honestly, like again, Jack Hughes on the fourth line isn't great, but I don't know if you can move him up much as of right now. Um, Spent some time injured this season, has come back from injury and hasn't really looked the same as he was prior to the injury. So I would take out JT Miller and throw in either Vincent Trocheck or Clayton Keller. I think
yeah,
Keller's kind of the odd guy out right now because he wasn't on the Four Nations team
yeah,
last year. And with Tage Thompson coming in, Tage Thompson kind of made himself undeniable to where
yeah.
you kind of got to have him in the lineup, right? Like he's one of the best goal scorers in the league this year. So that's
Like,
kind of where I'm at with their forwards.
yeah, man, watching Tage Thompson play, like, there's so often you're watching him and it's like he's people know he's good. I don't think people know how good he is. Like every time I'm watching him, I'm like, oh man,
He's so fun to
he's
watch.
he's mogging everyone else on the ice. He is making he always looks like the best player on the ice. Like very
Yeah.
rarely does he not look like the best guy out there. And
And it seems effortlessly for him too.
like he legitimately just like there's some guys where it's like it's just he's all over the puck every like he looks like like comparable like Drysdale or something when he's out there. It's like this guy the puck is just always ends up on his stick. He's always noticeable like
And he's making plays, whether it's you know he's getting assists or he's scoring goals, which he loves to do. Yeah,
loves to
I'm
do.
right there
Dude
with you.
loves to shoot. Um
Anything else with the forwards though that hasn't already been
yeah,
said?
just because these two guys are both forwards that I'm going to mention here. But I don't think we talked about it on the podcast. But there was the quote that was going around from Julien Brisebois, the one of the GMs of Team Canada, and he talked. This was in reference to Braden Point and Anthony Cirelli for Team Canada backing out. Apparently, they were both able to compete, healthy enough that they could be on the team. They don't have
Hmm.
to give up their spot, but they both decided it was better for Team Canada, gave them a much more likely chance to win if they let somebody else fully healthy take their spot. Um, and the way he said that, Brisebois said that, it was pretty clearly a dig at the American team. Um, whether that's at Four Nations, putting in Matthew Kachuk, who only played 4 minutes, 4 injured minutes, and they had healthy scratch Kyle Connor, or whether that's Jack Hughes this season. Like that's the kind of commitment and sacrifice the Canadian guys are making. Meanwhile, you know, we don't know how healthy a lot of these guys are. Matthew Kachuk just started playing half a month ago for this regular season. Matthews has been injured a lot. I mean, Jack Hughes is clearly injured. He hadn't played for the Devils in a bit, and if he was fully healthy, he wouldn't be on the fourth line.
Yeah.
They have him
I
on the
will.
fourth line. That's basically them admitting that he's not fully healthy. So it's interesting that,
I didn't take it as a dig towards the Americans at all. I kind of just took it as because obviously Breezebaugh is the GM of Tampa, so he's talking about his own two players, right? I think
yeah,
he's more talking about the kind of people that those guys are. I don't think
I
he's,
think
he
it
was
was
even talk.
both.
I think it was just talking about his players that he knows and that they care more about you know them not basically they care more about them not going to the Olympics and Canada getting gold as opposed to they go and get the experience and Canada gets a bronze. They're
Yeah,
they're willing to sit out and be like, I could play, but I wouldn't be giving us an advantage as opposed to this guy that's fully healthy. Is
yeah.
is kind of I mean, maybe it was taking a stab at the Americans potentially. I
I
don't
think it was
know.
like
I didn't take
80%
it that way.
that. I think it was like 80% that, but I think 20% of it was our guys on Team Canada are willing to do that. Meanwhile, you're bringing injured Jack Hughes.
But it'd be the players' decision. So if
You're
anything,
healthy scratching Kyle Connor. Like,
it's taking a dig at the players because the
sorry?
players got to make like well if he's taking a dig at the Americans, it's not the management. He'd be taking a
I
dig
took
at
it
the
as
players.
I think I took it as a dig at both management and the players or whoever would make the decisions.
The
Um,
players would have to make that call if they say I can't do it. I'm not healthy. Because they
yeah,
all probably got to pass some tests. Me like yeah they're good to go. They're
yeah.
cleared to play. But if they don't feel 100% and they're like it's
Mhm.
because it was up to
I do think it is a
Sorelli
dig.
and Point to make the call.
Yeah, I
They
do think
weren't
it was
shut down.
specifically kind of at Kachuk, specifically with like Kyle Connor's too good of a guy to be healthy scratching for an injured Matthew Kachuk. Like Kyle Connor's 100-point player. He's a goal scorer, man. Like
I
if
would say I'd agree in almost every case, but it's the fact that we saw Matthew Tkachuk carry the Panthers to a Cup final at times, and he did it with a broken sternum. So I mean, if it was anyone else,
yeah, but anyone who
it's kind
watched
of
him
like
in the
the
final, he also
yeah,
did dick all for them in the final
but
because he was
he
the
did
shell.
he did get him there though. Like so it was kind of that thing where it's only one game, it's not a full series, so I can understand it with Matthew Tkachuk only because you know some of the other guys just don't have that thing on their resume of doing something like that. But I do get what you're saying, but at the same time, he was healthy scratch for Chris Kreider overall, which is a guy that's not even on the team now. Despite he is having a very good season with Anaheim. It's not a dig at him, it's a dig at Chris Kreider last season. But he was on the Rangers, so you can't blame him. You can't blame players for sucking on the New York Rangers.
I will continue to do so. If you suck on the Rangers, it's because you suck at hockey.
I
You know
don't
who,
I would
you know who's good? Shesterkin. He's injured right now, but he's playing good.
you know who's really good? Adam Fox. He's not on
Oh,
the team.
well, yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about the defense because surely Adam Fox would make. If you just had an Earth hockey team, he probably makes the defensive lineup for humans. And they didn't even put him as the top 8 on the US.
It's yeah.
Canadians already are so it's gold medal or nothing. If we can't beat this American team that left home Jason Robertson, Adam Fox, like that's
Yeah.
those are two blunders.
Um,
We got to be able to beat these guys. But
is worth noting a lot of the people that did respond to Americans lineup were praising having Tage Thompson said they feel safe having him in the lineup, and I think that's a very fair thing to say. Just
he's got a mean
we have
streak.
Tage Thompson playing, I feel safe. Like I would too. Um, but yeah, we can move on to the blue line here. First pairing we have, and this is the updated pairing as of today, the day recording on the 9th, because pairings were a little bit different in some areas yesterday. But we have Quinn Hughes with Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin with Brock Faber, Jake Sanderson with Zach Werenski, and then the extras on the fourth pair, Jackson Lacombe and Noah Hannafin. This is pretty good. I think this
That's
is the
real good.
perfect pairings. I think the only thing was they had Sanderson and Hannafin swapped the other day. So Hannafin was with Werenski and Sanderson was with
Yeah.
Jackson Lacombe. And I think the way I listed off here, they have it now. I think is perfect. You've got your top guys in Hughes and McAvoy together. Your defensive kind of shutdown pair in Slavin and Faber. Sanderson and Werenski are. I mean,
Yeah.
Werenski is one of the most fun defensemen to watch over the last couple of years, and Jake
He's so
Sanderson is
good.
really breaking out as a borderline top 10 defenseman, and that's on your third pair. And
I
then Lacombe and
think
Hannafin. I mean, those are your what we
yeah.
all kind of assumed were going to be the extras.
I feel like this should be the defensive pairings against Team Canada. I think that's the only team that these should be the defensive pairings for. I think they should swap Faber and Werenski for anybody else, basically. Um, that's a great shutdown pair, and when you put them out there against McDavid or McKinnon's line when you're playing Canada. Other than Canada, I think for the rest of them, you could go Hughes, McAvoy, Slavin, or Werenski. I mean, Werenski's gonna play like a freaking 110-point defenseman when he has the leash of having Slavin on the other
Slavin.
side. And then
Yeah.
you still have Faber Sanderson, which is still going to be a super
Still
solid pairing. So
great pair. Yeah.
it
This
just
isn't
feels a
a
little weird to have Werenski, who in my mind has solidified him very solidly as the third best defenseman in the world. It just feels weird having him on the
third
third
pair.
pairing. I imagine all these pairs will get plenty of ice time though.
Yeah. It is worth noting it's not a dig at the United States, but it is worth noting they are in the weakest division of the three. As mentioned previously, Canada, Switzerland, Czechia, and France in Group A. In Group B, you got Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, and Italy. And then in Group C, you have the United States, Germany, Latvia, and Denmark. So they definitely
That's
do
rude.
have they definitely do on paper they do have the easiest
Do you know
division.
how
But
they
then
pick
again,
those?
Germany and is definitely no slouch. If it was World Juniors, I'd be giving Latvia more praise, but in the
Yeah.
Olympics, they're tough, and same with Denmark too.
How do you
What
know
were you
how
gonna
they
say,
pick
sorry?
these?
I I I've
Like,
read
is it
about it at
random?
some point, but I forget.
Because they
I forget.
because they should have done a redo. That's rude to put the Americans with those three teams. Like,
Yeah,
just yeah, you just got to mix in a little bit more in there. Like, nobody's gonna. Not a lot of people are gonna be watching many of the U.S. games until we get to the bracket
yeah,
part.
yeah.
I
Because I
feel
mean,
like
Canada, Switzerland is going to be fun. Canada, Czech is going to be fun. Canada, France, it'll be fun for Canada. There's that. And then Group B, Finland, Sweden,
they had to be in
awesome.
the same one.
Slovakia in there, and Italy. They're going to lose every game, but the atmosphere is going to be crazy for them as the
Yeah,
host country. Like if they've
E-
managed to score a goal,
yeah.
that'll be. I don't know if they do.
They
If they
should swap
do, it will
Slovakia and
be.
Latvia at least. Like, put Slovakia in the US's bracket, make it a little
Yeah.
more competitive. I would love to see Slovakia versus Germany as well. I think that would be fun.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I think France will score a couple of goals.
No, I'm
I
talking
think
about
that.
Italy though,
Oh, you're talking about Italy.
with Slovakia, Sweden, and Finland.
Do you know like any of the names on the Italian team?
No, no, no NHL players are on that team.
Yeah, it's
So
I'm
there's
rooting for
that's
them. That'd be fun.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Not against Canada. I'll cheer for him every other game.
Yeah. So again, yeah, you probably could go a bunch of different ways with your lines for the U.S. because it should be a pretty comfortable 3-0 for you. And with the goalies, it is worth noting Connor Hellebuck was in his own net, so meaning he's probably going to be the starter for
It
them.
would be shocking
And
if he
that's
wasn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's had his injury, he's had his surgery, he's had a couple months to recover from that fully, I think. Um, but even with that, it's not like Ottinger's really grabbed the net this year. Swayman hasn't grabbed the net. Like maybe if
Mhm.
Ottinger at this point in the year had a 925, maybe we're
Yeah,
talking about who's the starter. But I think he's at like a 905. Like he's good,
yeah,
but he hasn't stolen the starting spot from the guy who won the Vesna and the Hart last year.
yeah, absolutely. But those are the lineups for Canada and the United States. Again, they're the only ones where um, we know what they're rolling with. So I guess with that we can move on into the big stuff here. Well, it's not really the big. Well, I guess it's the big stuff of the episode, but probably not the longest segment. And that is our official predictions for the 2026
Predictions.
Olympics in men's ice hockey. So what we've got is we're gonna predict who wins the gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal, who's the team that loses in the bronze medal game, along with who we think will be the top scorer, the MVP of the tournament, and then who we think will be the biggest breakout player uh, in this tournament, and then afterwards because there'll be a lot of buzz around them. So
Yeah.
we can dive right into our official predictions. Where would you, good sir, like to begin?
Let's talk about the bronze medal game. What I think is going to go on there. So we're talking about the teams that are going to end in third and fourth in this overall. My prediction for the bronze medal game is Czechia defeating Team Sweden. So I think Czechia, Sweden both get to the bronze medal game, and I think Czechia wins. I think Czechia is going to
I'm
ball
I'm
out.
right there with you. I have Czechia defeating Sweden in
Okay.
what is still declared an upset. Czechia's definitely improved a lot over recent years, but this would still be an upset over
Yeah.
Team Sweden. Um, yeah, I think Czechia's got a good team this year, and I think they've got the players they need in place to win these games. And um, yeah, Czechia's recently is as it's mostly World Juniors and whatnot, but even the World Championship are starting to medal a lot more, and yeah, they're just kind of
Yeah.
built of guys that find a way to win those games that they shouldn't win, but they get it
They're
done.
just they're just one of those teams that it doesn't feel like very often they're not trying harder. Like
They're the
it's
underdog,
rare.
but it doesn't feel like they should because we're kind of expecting them to win them at this point.
Yeah, like they are rarely is it that other teams are even meeting their effort level, less alone any team surpassing it. Like they
Hmm.
they just want it. They want it every time. And
Yeah,
um yeah, we'll see if that continues with this tournament.
yeah, yeah,
But we both have them.
absolutely.
We both have them winning a medal.
Yeah.
Do you want to
And
say what
then
your prediction is for the gold medal game?
I,
I have
I
a
mean,
feeling we might
I
have the
think
same
our
thing.
yeah, I think our gold medal game predictions are going to be the same. And it's a rematch of the four nations, that being Canada and the United States. Um,
I have Canada
it's
winning.
Yeah, I have Canada winning gold, which meaning the United States gets silver. Yeah, call me biased maybe because I'm Canadian, but there's no way Canada should lose this tournament. Could they lose and not win gold? Absolutely. Um, but they are 100% the favorite going into this tournament, and it it makes
Yeah.
sense. You've got the
They're the
best
favorite,
defenseman
but
in the world on your team. You've got the two leading scorers in the NHL on your team, and they are the two best players in the game in Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon. You have Sidney Crosby, who just anytime he wears the red maple leaf, he wins. Like he,
yeah.
he doesn't lose. He always finds a way to win. And then you've still got the best young player in the league in Celebrini on that team now. So
Yeah.
the goaltending is potentially a bit of a
That
concern, but
that's the
but
big
again,
thing.
Bennington, I mean, he when it matters most, he finds a way to win. So
I will
I'm not going to
say
doubt him until it doesn't work, I guess.
for my MVP pick, I didn't go with Jordan Binnington, but I think he was my second choice. I was very close to
Yeah.
it. I mean,
All right.
like, he doesn't look great in the regular season, but every time he's called upon and we need to win, like in that game 7 versus Winnipeg in the playoffs, like fuck, Hellebuck played well. Bennington was unstoppable. They needed like all 3 goals were ridiculous shots and like some of the nastiest tips I've ever seen. I think that first goal was literally the most nasty tip I've ever seen in my life. That puck was going to go 7 or 8 feet wide of the net, and it got tipped perfectly under the crossbar. Like that's Jedi shit. Like that's what you need to beat him when he's on. And
And he's locked in.
in the regular season, he's got like what, like an 870 or something. So it's hard to be too confident, but there's a good track record of when he needs to, he
Yeah,
flips that switch and becomes him.
absolutely. And with the Americans, I mean, yeah, I do fully expect them to get into the gold medal game. Who do they have
These
to
two
go through?
teams
I
are
don't
just so
know, but
stacked.
yeah,
Like, I'd
on
love to
paper
predict
they're
Sweden, but
the two best teams. The biggest competitions that they're going to have to prevent them from going is probably going to be Finland and Sweden, most likely. And that didn't affect them in the Four Nations. They
yeah,
still found a way to match up with each other in the end. I think that's the matchup we're going to get. I think it's going to be a very close game. But once again, I think Canada's going to come out on top. And again, they are the favorite. They should win, but there is always a world where they potentially could not. We've seen it happen before, and
yeah.
I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Those obviously, that
It
is
would
who we
be
are rooting for.
it would be very shocking if either of these teams didn't make the gold medal game. They're
Mhm.
already the 2 favorites, but on top of that, Barkov is the number 1 center for Finland, and he's out. And Leo Carlsson's the number 1 center, at least we assumed, for
For
Team
Sweden,
Sweden, and he's out.
he's out.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
on top of these already being the favorite teams with those guys involved, they have those number 1 centers out. Like those are
Yeah.
2 huge misses. If Sweden had Leo Carlsson, I might have had them over Czechia in the bronze medal game. But
Well,
yeah, it's
it's a big
real
loss for
unfortunate.
them.
And Sweden has quite a few different injuries on their blue line, especially as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the other teams are a bit more injured than Canada and US, and that's on top of the fact that their rosters are just filthy.
Yeah. Um, top score MVP. Do you have the same player
I
for
do
both?
not.
Okay. All right. Same here. Who do you? We'll do top score first.
Yep, I have a feeling we're gonna have the same guy for this. I'm going with Nathan McKinnon. He
I did end up going with McKinnon. Yeah.
he led the Four Nations in scoring. He wants this maybe more than anyone else in the tournament. I only say maybe because Sidney Crosby's still there. Um, I think he wants it more than Connor McDavid. I think McDavid's still got one eye looking at the cup. Um, I think McDavid's going to try his ass off, obviously, but
Yeah,
hearing the
McDavid did speak to how much this, means to him as well. Like, yeah, it's
yeah
not like he's gonna come in half-ass it or anything.
no, just the sheer might that McKinnon will be playing with. Like he was
Yeah,
asked, like, what are some things you're looking forward to in Olympic Square? And he's like, winning hockey. And they're like,
yeah,
are you gonna see the sights? You're gonna do stuff? No, I'm gonna eat right. I'm gonna practice and win fucking hockey. He doesn't give a shit about taking in the Olympics. He is there to win. He
yeah.
is talking like
He's
such a gamer, and he was on a insane tear earlier in the season. Like he was
yeah.
leading in goals by like 8. He had like 1.8 points per game. And then in this last bit, he's not done a whole lot.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's because he forgot how to play hockey. I think it's
Yeah,
because he was like, all right, the Avs are fucking ironclad for probably the President's Trophy, less alone the playoffs. Um, his mind has been on the Olympics for half a month now. He hasn't been focusing on the Avs as much because he is so dialed in on this tournament.
and it
I
is worth noting that
He's gonna go nuts.
um, McDavid's line will probably be getting a lot of the tougher matchups as well. Like obviously with some teams they have dominant first and second lines, but
Yeah,
in most cases, yeah, McDavid will probably be getting the tougher matchups, and maybe that leaves a little bit of room for McKinnon. And on a stacked power play like that, McKinnon has shown more than anyone. He's not afraid to shoot the puck this season. And if he sees an opportunity to score, he's going to be shooting it every chance he gets. So yeah, I think he ends up
That's true.
coming out as the top goal scorer or top scorer
He
in
shouldn't be
whatever way you
playing
want
with
to take that.
Marchand either. The more I'm thinking about it, that second line should be Crosby, McKinnon, Marner. Marner
Yeah.
feeding a rabid Nathan McKinnon. That
Hmm.
he's scoring them all day.
Hmm.
Not that
Um,
Marchand doesn't belong
and
there, but
MVP of the tournament. Again, I don't think they give out a proper MVP. So that's kind of just up to the public to decide. But who do you got for the MVP of the tournament?
like I said, I was very close to going with Jordan Binnington, but it's hard to tell. I mean, who knows if he even ends up playing in some of those big games, right? Um, I went with tried and true. I went with Sid the Kid. I He might not be the top scorer, but I think he's going to have more of the clutch goals. I think he's going to turn back the clock defensively. I don't think he's going to forget any assignments with the maple leaf on his jersey. And yeah, I think he's just going to take just regardless of what happens throughout this tournament, he's going to lead them to the freaking promised land.
Yeah, well, we might as well
He
not even
just
call it
always
our.
does.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't even call this our separate predictions. We'll just call it the
Yeah.
stick 'em up predictions because yeah,
Uh,
I have Sidney Crosby MVP. It's just the obvious pick. I kind of wanted to go Connor McDavid, but
I'd love
well,
to
it's
see it.
tough to not go with Crosby while he's still on the team. And
I just
yeah,
get
for
this feeling
every reason you said.
McDavid's like I have this feeling that he's going to appear to have training weights on until he wins a cup. The instant he wins a cup, I swear he's going to put up a 180-point season. He's going to feel so free. He's not going to have a care in the world. Like the weight of the world will be taken off his shoulders and he
Yeah,
will go nuclear for the rest of his career after he
yeah,
finally wins one. He'll be able to have fun in the regular
absolutely.
season again. Like
Kind of felt the same way with Nathan McKinnon almost a little bit. Like he was good, but it was like once he won the cup, it was like
the floodgates were
kind
opened
of became yeah, it
and they're
became just a
gone.
whole nother monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last prediction we got here for the Olympics is biggest breakout or breakout player of the tournament. Um, I think this one we might not have the same player, but I don't know for
I'm
sure
assu-
because
I'm
we've
assuming
gone the
not,
same way every time.
but I was gonna say you go first because you haven't got a chance to announce like any of yours yet.
What
We keep
position
having
is
the
your
same
guy?
stuff. Um, I'm a bit of a coward. I have two guys written down,
Oh,
but um, my first one is a defenseman, and the second one is a goalie.
okay. Because I
So I don't have a
my
forward.
pick that I have is a goalie.
Okay.
And it is the goalie that we're predicting will win the bronze medal, and that is Lucas Dostal.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting because my prediction is Lucas Dostal is going to lose that dang crease. And I think Karel Vejmelka is going to steal. He's going to get into one game. He's going to shut out whoever he's against, and he's going to rob the net from Dostal.
Okay, I don't
Karel
hate that.
Vejmelka
I
tied
went
for league
with
lead in goals. Not goals, wins.
wins. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, he's coming for Nate Phillips.
Definitely could have. I went with Dostal because again, I think in terms of skill, he is the best goalie uh, that Czechia has, and
Yeah.
that's no disrespect to Vejmelka and Vladar because they're both having phenomenal seasons
Yeah.
in their own right. But I
I
think
love
when
Dostal.
Dostal's on
He's going
his
to be so
game
good.
and with that team in front of him, again, you know, they're in a bit of a tough division. Um, but again, I see this team going on a run. They end up winning, you know, bronze, and I think a big part of it is going to be Dostal because they're going to have tough matchups, whether that's when they're playing, you know, Canada and Switzerland in the the preliminary round, or when they get to the knockout stage and they're going to have to, you know, go up against the Americans or Finland or Sweden or whoever. I think
Yeah.
Dostal will be their guy, and on the Ducks he's proven it. So
Yeah.
no reason to
No.
think he can't do it with this Czechia team that again I think is going to be surprising a lot of people.
Yeah, honestly, like I love Dostal as a pick. You know, I just picked the backup goalie for the exact same team, and I do think Dostal has a higher ceiling than Vamelka. I think that they're pretty close in skill level right now, but I do think as soon as later this season, next season, Dostal's going to kind of leapfrog him there.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Something about Vamelka just spoke to me, and like he just feels like a guy poised to break the glass ceiling and just try and get in there. And it's like, all right, I finally got my shot to get in this net because obviously Dostal's the guy, and he's just not going to want to let go of it. And yeah, I'd love to see either of these guys pull it off.
And then you mentioned you have a defenseman?
Yeah, so this was the guy I kind of wanted to go with to begin with, but he's also a guy that it's really hard to break out because he's kind of already doing that this year, and he's kind of already done it in the past. I think most people would describe him as elite already, um, and that's Moritz Seider. Uh, I don't recognize a ton of the defensemen on this Germany roster. I would not be shocked if Mo Seider's playing 35 minutes a night. He
He's gonna have to
already
play a lot.
he devours minutes for Detroit, and they've got a lot better supporting cast than this German team already. So I think he might be leaned on pretty heavily, and I think he's one of those guys that is willing to do it. He's an absolute Iron Man. I still
Mhm.
don't think he's missed a game in his career.
No, he
I
hasn't.
like yeah.
As yet, he missed a game.
So
Yeah, I
and
think
now
that's
now he's going to be on
a
probably
great pick.
quarterback in a power play that's got you know Tim Stutzel and Drysaitel and
Draisaitl,
Paterka on it.
Turk. Yeah,
I
he's
think
gonna have
he
some
might.
some high-end talent to play with.
Yeah, I think he might have a real nasty tournament. A lot of 5-on-5, power play 1, probably
Pound to
penalty
kill
kill.
one.
Like,
He's gonna be doing it all.
yeah,
Absolutely. And no, I think that's a fine pick. But that
big
is
big
again,
Mo
that
Seider
is
fan.
our official predictions for the Olympics. You can make sure to let us know through any of the socials or in the comments on YouTube what you think of our picks, or potentially let us know what your picks are as well. But we're starting to get into stuff to wrap up the episode here. But before we can do
Yeah.
that, we must dive into the weekly mock trade. Braden, this is your week for the weekly mock trade.
Yes,
So I will
sir.
throw the microphone to you and let you tell us what you got here.
Yeah, man, in the future, we're gonna have to start, we like to go in blind with these, but we're gonna start having, coordinate our picks and predictions on some of these things. That's a couple things in a row where we have a lot of the same picks.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they
but
all
as
make
far as this
sense. All
mock
the easy
trade,
picks. We didn't do anything
um
crazy with them.
yeah, we were going for accuracy more than anything too bold.
Yeah.
But as far as the mock trade goes, I think this is one that you probably won't love, but I'm very interested in what your thoughts are going to be on it because
Okay.
it involves your San Jose Sharks
Wow.
and it involves your San Jose Sharks buying because I think Big Money Mike wants to reward his team for being in the playoff hunt at the start of March. Who would have guessed that?
Hmm.
And I
Not me.
think
Well,
he's
I
going to go
kind
out.
of did.
That's
Not
true.
much so. I didn't have them bottom Pacific, I guess, is a better way of putting it.
Um, I have San Jose. If San Jose's buying, what do you think they're buying?
Defenseman.
A defenseman. Any particular defenseman? Any style?
As long as they're right-handed.
I bel I'm like 90% sure they are right-handed. Um,
If
and
it's a good left side defenseman though, like I think they absolutely would. Because I don't think anything's certain on that team, especially on the blue line.
let's take a look. Are they right-handed? They are left-handed. Darn. They play right and left side though.
Oh, okay. Well,
Um,
that works then. They
and
just need someone that can play on the right side.
they can absolutely quarterback a power play as they've been showing all season. San Jose receives Oliver Ekman Larson, who has 3 years left at 3.5 mil. So, very good contract for what he's producing right now. In exchange for Edmonton's first round pick this season going to Toronto and a fourth round pick this season, which would be Florida's. I didn't know enough about their prospects to really attach any of them to this deal. Like, obviously, I know guys like Michael Misa and Bystedt and Musty and stuff, but like that felt like a bit too much when
Yeah.
you're already giving up a first.
Hmm.
but a little bit more than a first rounder. It could be depending on how things go, a decent first round pick. It's Edmonton, so it, it's kind of a wild card. You could be picking 32, you could be picking earlier, depending on the goaltending.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
San Jose already has their own first rounder this year, so they're already picking in the first round. They don't
Yeah.
really need to pick too much more. They just need to develop the guys they've got at this point. Like they don't need
Yeah.
two first rounders. Um, and Ekman Larson, that he immediately slots in to be your number one power play quarterback. He's obviously older. This would kind of be a thing to just help. He would be kind of the stopgap until a guy like Sam Dickinson or something transitions into being
Hmm.
that top defenseman. He's got 3 years left at 3.5 mil. So, like, he's not hurting your cap at all. Very movable later on as well, if you want to. And
Hmm.
just kind of a way to signal to the team, like, if you're going to play good, we're going to buy. Like,
Yeah.
sure, we're a young team, but if you're going to win, we're going to act like winners. And
Yeah, and I like the idea of the Sharks. I don't want to say necessarily like, but I'm okay with them buying. I think absolutely, yeah, the team has earned it, and yes, this team is 100% a Celebrini injury away from being a lottery team. That's that's common
sure,
knowledge.
sure.
But
What team isn't?
if well, that's well,
If,
and for to an extent, I think like
yeah,
obviously there's certain teams that if they lose their top guy, they won't be as good, but they'll still be fine. But the matter of fact is, Celebrini's healthy. He's not slowing down. He's dragging this team. So absolutely, you do kind of got to reward the team as a whole because there are a lot of guys that are playing very key roles, big roles, and um, Alex Wenberg, earning himself a spot out of the gate on an Olympic team. Wasn't on anyone's radar a year ago.
yeah.
Um, but and again, if they are going to buy, absolutely should be a defenseman. I don't think Oliver Ekman-Larsson's the right guy, and in my opinion, solely just for the reason that the Edmonton first round pick you acquired 1-for-1 for sending Jake Wallman to Edmonton, and then it's basically why wouldn't you just held on to Jake Wallman at that point? Is kind of my thought process. Now, if you were to trade the first for a younger defenseman, like a defenseman that kind of fits the core of the team that's in that 22 to 25 range, then
Right.
I think absolutely, yeah, move that first round pick and get a guy. But I think if they are going to trade that pick, it is to get someone that is going to be around a lot more than, maybe only 3 years. As
That's
much
the
as
thing.
Ekman Larson could help the team, I think they're only going to buy on guys that they see long term when it comes to their
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah, this would just be a transitional thing to make the team better as they develop for 2 or 3 years and then
Hmm.
move off of or he leaves in free agency. Um,
Yeah,
I
like
just
I
figure
absolutely love the
if
deal
you're
for
getting a
Toronto if
younger
they're
guy
selling.
if you're getting a younger guy, then you're either giving up a lot more than this or you're getting a guy that's less skilled. I think the only reason you can get a guy as skilled as OEL for this little right now is because he's 34. It's not expected that he's going to be able to do this for
Hmm.
much more than 2 more years.
And I think the Sharks would be fine if they had to pay a bit more to get a guy a bit younger. I mean, they have a boatload of assets, so if you got to sacrifice a younger forward to get a younger defenseman to kind of build around, I think you do that. For Toronto again, like if Toronto's selling and like I love this deal for Toronto, and I think that's the route they should be going. Because they've kind of seemed to do it pretty well when it comes to drafting as of late. So I think yeah,
Yeah.
you stock up on picks. Um,
They would love to hit on a pick that was originally Edmonton's as well, right? Like that's just one of those things where they would parrot that stat until the sun exploded.
till the end of time,
It's
and
like how
I
Detroit Red Wings fans are constantly like, "Fuck,
mhm.
we traded Vasilevsky for Kyle Quincy 1-for-1." It's like, well, it was the draft pick, but I mean, whatever helps you lose sleep at night, I guess.
Yeah. I don't hate Ekman Larsson as a fit for San Jose, but I think you go the route of maybe you do like second round picks. I think they have Colorado second, and then you do a
I think
lower
that's right.
level prospect or something like that. I don't think you move a first for Ekman Larson though.
Okay, that's
But
fair. And like
I
I
don't think
said,
it's
I
far
didn't
off from
fully
what a deal
expect you to
would
get
look
it,
like.
but yeah,
I think
it just felt
it's in the
like
ballpark though. Yeah.
they're at a point where they would rather move draft picks than prospects because for the most part they
Absolutely.
have their future already drafted.
Hmm.
Obviously, if you draft another great player, that's always good. But
Yeah.
and
Yeah. There's more so just if you're moving that first, I'd rather do it for someone that's a bit younger, and if you have to pay a bit more on top of it, then so
then
be it.
so be it. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Um. Yeah. No, I think that was still very good though, and that was this week's weekly mock trade, which means now we can go into our final segment here, wrapping things up with a game before we get out of here. And today we're bringing back a fan favorite: two real, two fake.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
for those unfamiliar with this game, pretty simple. I have a list of 4 players here. 2 of them are completely real. Everything I'm about to say about them is 100% true. And then 2 of them are completely fake, and nothing exists about this player whatsoever, and it's all a lie. And it's up to Braden and you at home to figure out who's real, who's fake. Pretty simple. Are you ready for your first player?
I am ready.
Alrighty. The first player we got here is J.P. Dumont, a Canadian right winger who was drafted third overall by the New York Islanders in the 1996 draft. After being traded by the Islanders, he made his NHL debut a few months later for the Chicago Blackhawks in 1998. So, didn't last very long as a member of the Islanders. It was not long after that he was traded to the Sabres along with a future Hall of Famer. Spent some years in Buffalo before going to Nashville, where he played 5 seasons before retiring in 2011. And he now serves as the head coach of the Nashville Junior Predators, where he was hired in 2016. So 10 years coaching the Nashville Junior Predators
Not bad.
for old JP.
Did you say who the Hall of Famer was that he was traded with?
I did not know. Would you like
Is
to
that
know?
I was gonna say, is that on purpose? Am I allowed to know that?
You're allowed to know if you want. It's up to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Doug Gilmore.
He was part of the freaking Doug Gilmore trade. Dude, I gotta look up some trade trees, see if I can get some intel on these.
And yes, that is J.P. Dumont. Are you ready for your next player?
Ready.
Let me know when you're ready. All right. Next up, we got Derek Barker, an American defenseman
Great
drafted.
name.
Great name. An American defenseman drafted 12th overall by the New York Rangers in the 2003 draft, making his debut for the Rangers the following season in 2004, where he played 6 seasons with the Rangers with an outstanding 4 goals in 463 games before being traded to the Arizona Coyotes. Played 3 seasons for the Coyotes before suffering a career-ending hip injury, though he did try to make multiple attempts at a comeback, but it just did not work. After many years of coaching his kids, he now serves as a defenseman development coach for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
And that is Derek Barker.
Derek Barker. I have some
Maybe
thoughts on
his
these guys.
nickname was Bulldog or something.
Well,
This is a
you know what
rookie.
I have written down so far? I have Derek Barker, 12th overall, New York Rangers, 03. And then after that, for notes, I have fake, he's a dog.
He's a dog. Next
Derek Barker,
player
he
here.
had to retire because he has a bad hip. He said he couldn't score
It
any
happens.
goals. He
Defensive
might just be a
defenseman.
dog.
Next player we got Brent Johnson, an American goalie drafted 129th overall by the Colorado Avalanche in the 1995 draft. He made his debut in the 1998 season with the St. Louis Blues, though, where he found himself the starter by the 2001-2002 season, which included an incredible playoff performance where Johnson went 5-5 with 3 shutouts, a 1.83 goals against, and a 929 save percentage with the Blues. A few seasons later, was traded to the Coyotes, and career went on until 2012 when he retired with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he is now a studio analyst at Monumental Sports Network.
What year was he drafted?
1995.
Okay. 95.
Made his debut in 98 and was the starter by 2001.
Okay.
The last player we got here is Daniel Falk. And if you want to spell that out, that is Falk. Does not include the U, like Justin Falk.
That's how I would have spelled it.
A Czech center drafted 116th overall by the Dallas Stars in the 1990 NHL draft. Built like a Brinks truck at 5'10", 225 pounds. Played 8 seasons with the Dallas Stars, including a Stanley Cup win in 1999. He then went on to sign with the Ottawa Senators that summer, where he played another 5 seasons before bouncing between a few teams before he eventually retired in 2009. After multiple Olympic playoff appearances throughout his career, you will once again see him on the big screen as he joins the Czech coaching staff for the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
That's Daniel Falk. And those are your 4 players.
Okay.
How you
So
feeling?
as I was going, I was writing down real or fake beside them as just like initial
Gut reaction
feelings.
type thing. Yeah.
I usually do
Absolutely.
that, and I often make some changes. I think I might just leave them as what I have, though. I'm not sure about JP Dumont. He feels like he could be either, but I have him listed as fake. I've got Derek Barker as fake. Just he can't score a goal. He had a bad hip. He just sounds like a literal dog.
That's fair. No fair.
Brent Johnson, he's a tough read. I think I might have him and Dumont mixed up. But I have him as real. And Daniel Falk, I don't know. Something to me that sounded very real. I'm
Okay.
feeling rather confident about that. So do I want to swap Brent Johnson and Dumont? I don't. I think I had this conversation with myself last time we played this. I didn't swap them, and I believe I was wrong to not swap them.
Okay. I can't remember the last one we did,
Yeah.
but sure.
You know what? Basing it off that, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and switch it up to see if I can hit on these. I'm going to say the real ones are JP Dumont and Daniel Falk. And the fake ones are Derek Barker and Brent Johnson.
Brent Johnson. Alrighty. So start off with the one out of the gate you were pretty confident in, that being Derek Barker, the American defenseman.
That is an animal. That is
They
not a
can't
human.
score. They can't score a goal and has a fucked up hip. You thought he was fake. You are correct. He is indeed fake. He is indeed fake. Derek
Yeah.
Barker
Well, he was a coyote.
is-
He was a dog.
Fair. Brent Johnson. You thought he was
Fake.
You
I
went
almost
fake
had
with
him.
Brent Johnson.
I had him as real initially, and I swap him to fake
Brent
because I
Johnson,
think
American goalie,
Dumont is
St.
more
Louis
real.
legend for a little bit. Retired with the Penguins, drafted by the Avs. He is real.
He was real. I
He
shouldn't have swapped him.
He was real. Well, I don't think it would have mattered because what did you say JP Dumont was actually?
So originally I had him as fake, and I swapped to saying he was real at the end.
So you went with JP Dumont as real. The Canadian right winger, drafted 3rd overall by the Islanders in '96 draft. Chicago traded Doug Gilmore trade. You were correct. JP Dumont is real.
Okay, so
Which
making that swap
means
was, I guess, a wash because I got one One wrong because of it and one right because of it.
Because in the end, Daniel Falk, the Czech center, built like a Brinks truck, Stanley
Built
Cup
like a
champ,
Brinks truck.
Olympic, coaching in the Olympics is fake. Is not
Dang.
real.
I thought the Brinks truck was real.
No. There's nothing
Dang.
real about him, does not exist. He is totally fake. And we're all very sad now because that would have been a hell of a player to watch.
The
But
fakes were
he
just
went,
a you made up a dog and then just an absolutely massive human being.
yeah, yeah,
One
yeah.
worth two.
Um, you ended even 50-50 there, though. So that's kind of the usual
That
standard
that's the
for
bar I
this
want to
game.
at least try and hit every
Yeah.
time. I want to at
Well,
least
because
get
it's
half of them.
correct. So I think you can only get 0%, 50, or 100.
Yeah, I guess
You can't
unless
get 75 unless you think,
I could
oh,
just say
three of them are
I say
actually real.
I just say all four of them are real and then just go for 50 every time.
I might do that one day. I might just trick you and just have them all be real or all be fake or something.
Oh, then we'd have to change that we'd have to change it to real or fake, not too real, too fake.
That's a good point, actually. That is a good point because we do have real or fake. But that is it for this episode. We are at the tail end. We do hope you enjoyed another episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast. If you want to give us your thoughts on what you think, your thoughts on the leadership groups or the lines or your predictions going to the Olympics, again, you can do so through any of the socials or over on YouTube. I know Braden loves the comments over there on the YouTube.
Get in the
Um,
comments.
so you can
Get
keep
in
that
there.
up as always. But that is it for this episode. We're wrapping things up. We will be back on Friday, where we'll probably just be talking about what's going on with the Olympics, unless something crazy happens news wise in the NHL, which I doubt will. We're mostly going to be talking Olympics. So make sure to come back on Friday for that and our initial reactions to the first few games. But, Braden, we're wrapping up this episode. We're getting out of here. But before we do, as always, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. We had a lot of stuff we wanted to cover, so we didn't bring it up. So I guess I'll quickly bring it up now at the end. Marie-Philippe Poulin went down with an injury earlier today in the women's game, and she went back out, played another shift, couldn't deal with it, ended up leaving the game. They were up 5-1, and I believe the score stayed that way till the end. So like they didn't need her for that game, but
Mm.
uh,
I do follow this.
obviously we just have to hope that she's
Yeah.
healthy and gonna be able to keep playing in this tournament because this very well could be her last, and in my opinion, the greatest women's hockey player of all time.
Nothing will go harder than Haley Wickenheiser's quote, though. That's for sure.
That
I do follow
legend.
a guy on Twitter. He's a doctor, and his whole account is whenever someone gets injured in a sports event or game or whatever, he kind of
People just
tweets out
tag him at it, and yeah,
what he thinks is the injury could be and if it's severe, and he doesn't think this will be an injury that will keep her out of any games. But again, never know for
hey,
sure. But
love to hear that either way. Hopefully
it
it's
does
true.
sound like she is going to be okay, and we'll obviously keep an eye on that. But that is it for this episode. One fun time. Hope all of you enjoyed, and as always, we will see all of you out on the ice later this week.